So it's going to take me a little while to get used to it again. To get used to holding the camera and talking simultaneously. I feel like I have started doing this filming again for the first time. And the reason is understandable, because I haven't done it for over a month and a half. Today's 31st of August. Last time I filmed was last month, 14th of July. So it's already been 1.5 months. In the meanwhile, I didn't touch my camera even. And there is also reason behind that, why I didn't hold my camera, I didn't touch it, because the whole country in which I live, as you can see, was totally unrestful. So after a month and a half holding the camera again, I am going to talk about this thing. What happened to Bangladesh and what happened in Bangladesh. Thoughtfully using both prepositions. What happened to Bangladesh or what happened in Bangladesh. What happened in August, this month, the last day of this month? What happened in this month in the history of Bangladesh? That's what I'd like to talk about in this film. Does it make me feel uncomfortable? Walking while talking with the camera in hand? Yes, it does. Especially when I've been out of practice for this long. And I had to make my mind about making this film. Quite a few times I changed my mind. I began to have this thought of making a film on this theme since last night, and quite a few times I changed my mind. I thought I should do it, I have to do it. I feel the urge, a sense of urgency to do it, to capture, document my thoughts on this historic moment or historic event, I would say. And if you're here for the first time, then you don't know. But if you are not here for the first time, if you watched any of my work in the past, then you know this is my quite a signature style of filming. Totally uncut, just uncut, uninterrupted. A singular piece of work. And that's how I film. Doesn't matter how boring it gets, I do it intentionally, purposefully. In order to capture the sense of time and space. This is the first time I'm filming in post-revolutionary Bangladesh. Post-revolution, yeah. The question is, should I call it a revolution? And I'm coming to discuss this topic in a moment once I find myself in little quiet place, less noisy, less chaotic location. Now I'm on a journey. That is my plan. Little collision while I was trying to capture the structure. Such a tall building. I haven't started yet my talk on the topic. So I'm on the journey, but I'm filming, and as usual my camera will keep rolling. So I'm going far and far away from where I started from where I started. Why did I use the same word twice? From. You shouldn't do an injustice to grammar, Rob. Cross the road. It's a normal traffic for Bangladesh, for Dhaka. Quite normal, I would say. It's nothing compared to what these residents, city dwellers are going to experience later this evening. sense of intensity of the traffic. Finally, I got accomplished crossing the roads with them. Now I'm on my way. To get to where I have to get to. So that I have some proper environment to start talking. And I know I'm already talking. But not yet on the very topic. I made a number of films walking on this very route, on this path, all the way to the Revolt. That's the name of the garden, the park where I'm going to. That's my destination. Once again, let me introduce you to that monumental building structure. That one. National Parliamentary Building. even the last time I filmed, just I mentioned more than once, last month, 1.5 months ago, just exactly on this route, exactly like this. But that Bangladesh was a different Bangladesh than it is now, and that's the topic I'm going to talk about. Let me have a closer look to this. National Parliamentary Building. Should I zoom it in? There it is. Let me get back to the normal mode. And I have to keep moving forward. And here I am. In sweat. I don't know why still I'm not comfortable pointing my camera at my face. I don't know. I wish I didn't have to just don't show my face ever in any of my films, but sometimes I do have to do it as part of my filming method, I would say. Me as the author of what I'm doing, the man behind the camera. once again, let me mention this is my first film after the revolution. Revolution 2024 took place in Bangladesh just this month, earlier this month, first week of this month, 5th of August. The established government was ousted, was subverted by the mob. Now, should I call it a revolution or revolt? I'm going to talk about this. My film is already going on. For quite a long already. Yet I haven't started. So what I'm going to do? Am I going to use this footage as behind the scene? I'll think about that later once I'm done. Sometimes I feel like I should be more frequent, more sincere, dedicated to my YouTube project, and then sometimes I feel I shouldn't. So I do have mixed kind of feelings about my project. I'm doing just a repetition of the whole route that I did in my last film. But again, that Bangladesh and this Bangladesh are not the same. So my plan is, okay, I'm now approaching to that garden, Revolt, that's what it's called in Bangla. Bangla is the native language, of course, in Bangladesh. Chundrima Uddan, the garden of moonlight. If I have to translate it literally into English, then that's what it means. And I'm approaching to that garden. Once I'm in that garden, in that quiet environment, let's say less noisy, then I'm going to start talking about what I have to talk, what I feel the urge of. As always, I take it kind of a challenge to keep my film totally uncut from the beginning to the end, through the end, entirely uninterrupted, uncut film. and that's how I process it in my post-production phase. I just put some necessary checks, some information, and that's it. Also, what I'm going to do probably is that I'll just isolate the main talking part on the theme from this total footage from film and publish it separately for the convenience of the audience who would like to just listen to what I have to say. Look at me, how drenched I am in sweat. This is my camera picking it up. The man behind the camera. Is it the quiet place I was waiting to get into? At least I'd be away from mechanical industrial noise, all this crazy honking, hopefully. Not that quiet, in the sense that, as you can see, so many people are already. I wasn't expecting this crowd, this many people today at this time. I shouldn't say at this time. Of course, this is the time for people to gather. Oh. So these are the people all the way. So finally, let me jump into the topic. What happened in Bangladesh in August, in the month of August? Also, in the previous month, July, people of this country, many of them, certainly not all of them, but people are inclined to call it August Revolution. And they love to label what they did this month. Today is the last day of August, month of August 31st. So I'm talking about the earlier week, first week of this month, and to be more specific, 5th of August, when the established government just was toppled, ousted from the power because of revolt, insurgents by the people, surely. Then they call it revolution. Now, should I, first of all, who am I? I'm a citizen of Bangladesh, was born, raised, living currently. Maybe I'll die also here in this country, very land. So, first and foremost, I'm a citizen of Bangladesh, an ordinary citizen, a totally apolitical, non-political citizen, and I'm making this film, having this talk, or recording my thoughts from that position, also from that perspective, as a citizen, an ordinary citizen of Bangladesh. And here I am. I'm going to document my thoughts here. This is my first film after that revolution took place. What happened? The whole thing started from a movement against a practice of reservation. Reservation of, well, let me make it simple. Government job, public sector, public service. Government jobs in this country are highly desired by the young people who are starting at university level. They're going to finish their study in some years, and then what they desire the most is to get into a job, have a job, government job that will ensure their security, prosperity, this and that. Makes sense. Anyway, so government had this reservation rule, reservation principle. The government job should be I would say less than 50% are for these potential candidates on merit based, and more than 50%, which might sound a little strange, but that's how it had been all these years. More than 50% of the government jobs were reserved for some categories. They call it quota, Quota, quota. So that is the word quota, one of the most uttered, most used, widely used words it was in last couple of months. So students, they started their movement, formed their movement against this quota reservation, this quota system. They found it, they considered it unfair, unjust, and that's the main cause. They started this movement, and this movement actually didn't start right away from this year, from month of July, or it's not like that. Back in some years from now, in the past, this movement already rose up. It was kind of a movement, impactful, effective movement, but ultimate result didn't come from movement in that time, the first phase of movement. I'm talking about back in 2018, if I'm not wrong. And then once again, this year 2024, the year of revolution, finally the movement took its second phase and final phase. It took some extreme form and got successful. So how did they get successful? They got successful by toppling down the government, by ousting the prime minister, who was Sheikh Hasina. For all these years, for over 15 years, she had been the prime minister of Bangladesh. So it started as a quota reformation movement, a movement demanding to reform the quota system, unfair, unjust quota system in students' eyes. Fair enough. But it ended up as the downfall of this government, powerful established enough government, I would say. 15 years uninterruptedly they were on power, They were reigning. They were governing this country. Then what? This is revolution. And me, as a citizen of Bangladesh, an ordinary citizen, a political man, someone who stays away from politics, that's not my thing, that's not what I'm into, I'm not meritorious enough or intelligent enough to understand politics. To me, should I call it a revolution? I'm not sure. Revolt, for sure. Insurgents, yes. So public revolt, insurgents. See why I don't feel comfortable using the word revolution, because that's a big word. That's a great word that conveys some great sense. Revolution means something positive. Revolutionize something which is not great into something which is great. So in that sense, should I call it revolution? I would say it would be too early to comment. But revolt, insurgents against Sheikh Hasina regime, that would be safe enough. That would be safe enough to describe it. Who did it? Second question. The credit is going to specifically Gen Z, Generation Z. That's how they it looks like they feel proud of labeling themselves in that way. Generation Z, because they were born on 1997 and after. So they're on their early 20s. They're on their university levels, high school, university, and they're the ones, they were not quite happy about this quota system, this unfair system where majority, more than half of the jobs were secured by for some other people, not for them, unless they fall into any certain quota. Let's say freedom fighters' children and grandchildren kind of quota. Women quota, reserved seats for females. So was it good or bad? You decide. That's another topic. Now let me jump into the heart of the matter. Why I'm making this film. If I want to call it a revolution, let's say it's a revolution. Why did it happen? Why? Because see, even me personally, an ordinary citizen, even 1 hour before the resignation of Prime Minister, I had no clue. Nobody has any clue, I would say. Nobody had any clue about it, that some declaration, some announcement of resignation was coming from the Prime Minister. I mean, she was extremely under pressure. She was just pushed back to the corner. And there are valid reasons for that. Why she failed. Why she failed to stay on her position, on her chair. Why? Valid reasons. I would say she and her government, she as being the leader, the chief of the government, of her party, no doubt to say that very poorly handled the whole situation. It was a situation created by students demanding for something just, something right. I would say something not wrong. What they were demanding for was nothing wrong. I see no wrong. I didn't see anything wrong in that. Still now, I don't see anything wrong in that demand. They wanted the cancellation of the reservation. They wanted to have a system based on the merits. So they were, the whole movement started from the public university campuses. Dhaka University is the topmost public university, and then it spread into other public universities. Then when government tried to stop this public university students, the movement, it did spread into the private universities. So now it's a public university plus private university students are normal inside their campus protesting, but on the streets protesting for their rights with this demand. Their demand was nothing absurd, nothing too much. The mistake the government did, I mean, at that point of time, they didn't see any mistake in it. The way they were handling this whole, again, the situation, that's the word I want to say, I want to use. This protest, this movement, I want to call it a situation created by the students. And then when it did get worse, once the other political parties, Sheikh Hasina's political opponents, all the other parties who have been away from the power for over nearly 2 decades, for over 15 years for sure, they just joined this protest on the streets, and then in protest took a form of some sort of public revolt. So I could see still, if I remember, it was a simple protest by innocent students in their campus, but then it began to just go away from their hand, get out of their hand, get out of their control, and this whole protester situation thing, it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, wilder and wilder, to a point when the authority, the government, had no way to just control it anymore, to bring it under the control anymore. That's where they chose to be stupid. I would say they were. I feel sad for them. I feel bad for them as well. But I feel sad for this government. They should have done it in a better way, smarter way, wiser way. They were so foolish. Which is why they had to finally pay the ultimate price by resigning from the power. Let me just a second plug in my power bank. Now what happened? Why I'm saying this, that the authority, they were not being smart, wise, handling the situation. Such a poor management. The reason is, see, that's what you can take away from this. Such a boring talk. My phone, if you're still there, hello. What I can take away from this whole thing, the lesson, this August Revolution, August Revolt in Bangladesh. The lesson is this. The students from the very beginning, I would say they were, I can't report that they were being peaceful, very gentle kind of protest, peaceful protest that takes place in the first world country. It's not like that. The protest was provocative from the very beginning. It was provocative to provocation. It was provoking the authority, the government, into provocation. That was, now if I look back at this, the whole thing, one of their strategies, they wanted to provoke the authority, the government, in this little bit violent kind of protest. Violent in what sense? Let's say the students were throwing stones, bricks, particles of bricks toward the policemen. And then what happened? The police got even more reactive, more violent. They were responding to this violence in a more violent way, using the weapons. They called it tear shell, rubber bullets, sound grenades. Those are the words Those are the terms that in last couple of months we all had to hear so frequently. So these tear shells, these rubber bullets, this sound grenades, and still when students were kind of not uh, being stopped, no one can stop them. The authority were kind of failing to stop them, to calm them down, to tame them. Then they didn't hesitate to use the actual bullets, the actual bullets. And guess what? The result was death. The result was lives. They began using actual bullets on the protesters because protesters were not being peaceful, they were not being so gentle, let's say, and they were throwing stones, they were throwing bricks toward the police, and they got even more violent. So they were replying to it, they were responding to this violence with more violence. And I'm now in my topic. I'm coming to my point here. That's the point I want to make all this time in this total, whatever it is, this film. The point is, when someone is being violent to me, should I respond to it with my violence, with another violence? Just like what the policeman did. Policemen in plural number, MEN. They did. And they did because they, of course, they had the instruction from their higher authority, let's say from the government, that hey, you have to stop these protesters by any means, at any cost. If it takes you to shoot them down with actual bullets, do it. Don't hesitate. They are being so, let's say, disrespectful to us. They are being so disobedient, rebellious towards us. We are not ready to tolerate it. See, that's where the government was choosing to be not wise. They were being unwise. I'd call it stupidity, because didn't they, when would we take lesson from the history? Didn't they take the lesson from the history that that's not the way, that's not the proper way? You shouldn't respond to the violence thrown at you with violence. What if Sheikh Hasina regime, the Sheikh Hasina government authority, if she decided to just don't count this violence, respond it in a peaceful manner? You were choosing to be violent to me. I'm the prime minister right now. I'm not going to be provoked to be violent towards you. I'm not. If she chose, or her government chose, to be peaceful in response to the violence of the students plus the political opponents who took advantage of this students movement, this quota reformation movement, then the whole result would have been so different. At least it would have been the way it is now. That's what makes me feel sad about this government, bad about this government. Now, you might be wondering, oh, why I'm feeling sad about it? Am I a pro-government person? Am I a supporter of this government? It's not like that. First of all, I just clarified it. I'm a non-political man. I'm not into politics, I don't understand it. But at the same time, I uh, do know this government, the Sheikh Hasina government was doing good. Even though, and note it down, there were corruptions, hello, from top to bottom. The whole country system was rotten, corrupted, and I have no hesitation to make this remark. I did make this remark even in my social media post. So this government, they were carrying the accusation, the allegations of corruptions on their shoulders from the very beginning. So the government was kind of corrupted, surely enough. The fascism is another, probably the most widely used, the most used word, let's say, in Bangladesh right now. It was last month, the month before last month, July and August, and still this is the most frequently used word, fascism or fascist, when it comes to describe Sheikh Hasina and her government. And this is what I also find sad. This is not okay. Was this government fascist? I have to make my point more in a more responsible way, being a responsible citizen. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable to call them fascist right away. I know what fascism means. It was a democratically elected government, even though the elections, last 2 or 3 elections, except for the first one, when they for the first time got into power back in 2009, 8, something like that. But then last 2, 3 elections were kind of highly questioned. Why? Because the main opposition party or parties, they chose not to participate in this election because of unfair electoral system. They kind of sensed that the election was not going to be fair enough. It was not going to be neutral enough, because the election was going to take place under their authority, the current government's authority. So they didn't participate. Anyway, the elections were highly questionable. Yet on the paper, they were democratically elected government for last 15 years. Now, should I call that government fascist? No. When the word comes to me, fascist government, fascist authority, what comes to my mind first is North Korea, is probably, I don't know, which other country should I name? Let's say North Korea, a country where actually you're not allowed to raise your voice, you're not allowed to talk anything against the government, against the head of the state. And that's to me fascist. But yet, why fascism or fascist have been the most widely used words while describing these governments? Because I have to admit that the government, the way they were let's say, dealing with the people, in terms of freedom of speech, fascism, the elements of fascism were there. It wouldn't be totally unfair. It won't be totally inaccurate if we say that no, there were not. There were fascist elements in the government's way of dealing with people when it comes to the freedom of speech, freedom of expressions. So the fascism, the corruption, those kind of serious allegations against this government. I think, I mean, in this world, 200 plus countries maybe, all the governments are to some extent fascist, to some extent corrupted. Those, I mean, see again, I want to say that Sheikh Hasina government, they see again, they were showcasing no wisdom, they were showcasing no foresight, they were showcasing no tolerance. The way they handled this movement by the students, or let's say by even their political opponents in disguise of students, doesn't matter. When they were being violent, they were using violence on the streets, in their protest. The government could have been wiser, smarter handling this. They used violence, they used forces, they used bullets to stop this the unrestful students mob, the angry mob, this dissatisfied mob. All their, let's say, they're enemies, but you cannot do that. You cannot, I mean, what is the result? What is the ultimate result? The result is you had to just, you failed. I mean, you couldn't stay on power anymore by using your power. You know what I mean? You kept using your power, your forces to stop the protesters, and government's claim was this. It was kind of politically motivated mob. Okay, I get it. Yet, why did you give them the chance to do it? So that's the failed part of this whole the failed part on government's part. So it was a story of failure. On public side, on people's side, it was a story of victory, or story of a revolution. Revolution means something so positive still in my mind, in my sense of words. So I don't know, is this country, is Bangladesh moving forward in a good direction? It's too early to comment on that. But this revolt, people won. The government lost the game by letting themselves be angry. I mean, they responded their anger with anger, violence with violence, and that's how they failed. Anyway, what could have they done? What could have they done? They could have responded to this violence with even more peace, with more love, with more tolerance, with more love, more peace, more tolerance. And now I know you are so angry on me. You didn't expect me to have this very overly used terms. Hey, why why in the world? Everybody said that Jesus Christ or Buddha said that, thought that, nothing new, but still that's what it is. That's how it is relevant even in 2024, when all these people, the protesters, were violent, were angry, hostile towards the authority. The authority should have been in the opposite direction. They could have been peaceful, loving, tolerant. Oh, it's already dark now, and this is where Bangladesh is right now, kind of in an uncertain darkness. And I think I have to, I don't know, should I, I'm just looking for kind of a perfect location to finish my phone. So have I been able to describe what happened in Bangladesh? If that's the title of my phone, maybe you're disappointed. Oh, but yeah, that's what I have to say. That's what I had to say. That's what I will have to say, even in the future. The whole political game, let's say the whole political game, the conspiracy, whatever you want to call it, no problem. But violence should be responded with no violence, should be responded with peace, non-violence. So violence should be responded by non-violence. Intolerance should be responded by tolerance. That's what I believe in. You don't see, if I don't believe in it, still that's the solution. That's the way. That's the way to handle any bad situation, not only on country level, not only on national level or international level, in your personal level, everywhere. So that's the message. if I have to have a message in this film, that is the message of this film. And there we can see the rear part of the parliamentary building, and I can sign out from here in this dark. Not sure if you can see me, which is totally not important, but yeah, that's where Bangladesh is right now. And I'm being an observer right now, just like millions and millions of other citizens, political, apolitical, both. I can hope for something good. Let's hope for it. Hope is our last because of stupidity, you are out of the power, you're out of the position. You were serving this country, this land, this nation pretty well. Not that bad. And then because of using no wisdom, see, I'm now in the dark, total dark, and still you can see some human figure. That's interesting. uh, you're out of position, you're out of power, uh, and the country is going on. The country must go on with different people, different ideologies on the power, and I'm totally confused, like many other people. Or maybe people are not confused. It's only me who is quite confused about the future of this country. But hope is the last refuge. And love you all. Yes, I do. Love you all.